Hi, Mukhtar.
Hi there.
I would say nice to meet you, but we know each other for quite a while now.
Sure, yeah.
So, as you know, this is an interview for my business module. I just wanted to make sure that you are all right with me recording the audio and the video of this interview.
Sure, I am. That's
Okay.
great. Yeah.
Okay. So, just so I do a short overview, I'm going to ask you some questions about you in general, about the business Inspiral Design. And more specifically, how do you get leads? How do you keep the customers happy?
Yeah.
And then how you make them into advocates so you can get referrals.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with you. So what interests you in the creative fields? What did it make you go or pursue this career?
Sure. So, what's really interesting with the creative field is how visual communication is a way to change the way people think or perceive about things, and how that can be quite a powerful kind of form of media. I'm also really interested in kind of the way people solve solutions with creative ideas, where creativity can really make people sort of think about, wow, okay, that's really clever, or a creative sort of solution to a problem. So so that's really the main
So
thing.
did you had some inspiration when you were young to pursue this?
Yeah, sure. I come from a family of artists, so I grew up with being surrounded by artists. So I think that definitely probably, I guess, inspired me or pointed me in a direction. But more specifically, I was really interested in Lego and building things, and also drawing as well. And I used to really sort of type or drawing lettering or things like that. So I just kind of from a very early age kind of knew that was kind of the direction I wanted to go down. So yeah,
that's really interesting. It's actually kind of the same with me. I was really passionate about Lego and just building stuff. So how did you start your journey? Did you have any educational background? Did you go to college in arts or something?
Yes. So I went to art and design college. I also, at school, design and art was kind of the subjects that I was really more interested in as opposed to the others. Then after school, I did an H&D in graphic design and art, and after that, I was really fortunate to do an apprentice for 4 years with an acclaimed designer and artist, and I really learned a lot during that time. And currently I really believe in apprentices and internships, partly because of my own experience, and that's why we offer them in our company. The idea that you can learn with someone hands-on is just so much better than trying to study through a manual or doing tutorials and things online. So kind of
I guess it's the same with us at Brunel. We really want to emphasize practical knowledge more than theoretical knowledge. So did you have lots of experience in working for a company? I'm just interested, why did you decide to start your own company, Inspiral Design?
Right, sure. I was actually partly thrown into the deep end of having to create my own business. It was partly just to my circumstances, but I'm really glad that I did, and to have the freedom is great. But basically, I was working at a company, and then I got married, and my wife needed to travel to Turkey to study her art, which is Arabic calligraphy. So I had to leave that job, and then I had to go to a new country, somewhere I hadn't I'd been before, but I hadn't lived there. So I was kind of forced to basically work by myself. So obviously initially starting out as a freelancer, and then that transformed into me creating my own business. So I probably would have done that anyway, because I've always been quite entrepreneurial. Even when I was younger, as a teenager, having like small like businesses like car wash and newspaper rounds and things like that. So I've always kind of been interested in like commerce or business. So I think I probably would have gone down that route anyway. So
yeah, that's very interesting. So did you have like a clear vision about the company from the beginning, or did it just slowly transform over time?
I knew the type of sort of work that we would be doing. That kind of did steer, partly because of the type of area that my father works in, which again is related to sort of the Muslim world. So I knew it would be kind of a role around that kind of area, or that sort of specialism around sort of really culture and art and language. So kind of those sort of key sort of things, I knew that would be where the business would be sort of focusing. And also knew like that we would need to have a specialism quite earlier on, that you couldn't really have a design business that was like kind of just very, very generic. That it's really important in business to kind of focus on a particular market or segment and specialize on that.
Around what time, what year did you start the company? I'm just trying to put it in context.
So it was actually around 2000.
Oh, so that's almost 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years ago. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how did you actually start the business? Was it always in the studio? How did you get your first client?
Right, sure. So as I mentioned, I really started the business in Turkey. Before that, I was doing some small like things on the side, but not very many things. One of the first projects we had to do like logo and branding. I think it was something related around health. I think before that I had to do a poster for a theatre event. So these were kind of small, but most of those jobs came through like recommendation through like family or friends. So, but out in Turkey, I think I met someone who had a kind of a media company, and they were producing a lot of like discs and DVDs, and they needed like a lot of graphics for these sort of like music cassettes and audios and things like that. And so I started doing quite a bit of work, also packaging as well. So I started doing quite a bit of work for this person, and it was great because it gave me like loads of like experience, and it was great to actually see the things I was designing actually being sold. So I'd go out and I'd see them like in the markets, and it was great to sort of see them there. And also, even my work was being copied, so I could see people were like taking my designs and then like copying them. So that kind of that was interesting.
I guess in a weird way, having your work copied is kind of flattering.
Yeah,
like people think it's good and they want to copy the design. Yeah, that's good. Okay, we've heard a bit about you, but now let's hear about Inspiral Design. So how would you summarize what Inspiral Design does for someone that never heard of it?
Sure. So we're an agency that combine contemporary craft-based design with culture, art, and language. Really. So that's in summary really what we do. So and we specialize in print and digital media. So yeah, that's what we kind of do. Yeah.
So how do you market the business?
So we market the business through, I guess, social media and our website. But really, most of the work we get, a lot of it is from referrals. So other customers referring us.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I know you are the founder of Inspiral Design, but currently, what is your role in the company? Are you involved in the creative process?
Yeah. So I am definitely hands-on involved. Yeah, because we're a small business. So so I'm I'm basically the creative director and founder would be my official title for the business. But yeah, I carry out a lot of the design work and as well as a business development. And yeah, being a small business, you wear lots of different hats. So
I can't even imagine the pressure of having to multitask and manage so many different things.
yeah.
So now going a bit into details, what exactly are your products or services?
All right, sure. So we do, we offer branding. So we do logo design and branding guides. We also do a lot of book print production. So design and production. So that's where we work on book projects. They can take up to 3 years for books that require a lot of research, and we do these whole projects from start to finish. So sometimes even coming up with the ideas at the beginning for the books, or whether it's a diary or a calendar. Or sometimes we have an author who comes to us with a concept for a book, and then we have to work with this client to bring the book into fruition. So the book, they're quite big projects. They can involve quite a large team. We could have like a cartographer, illustrators, researchers, picture researchers, as well as sort of proofreaders and project managers. So yeah, they're books are quite a lot of work to produce really good quality work. That's really original, and so we offer that. We also offer app design and development, not as much as the print work. We do a lot of just book covers sometimes, so not the whole book, and brochures and marketing. We do call it sort of marketing material. So but yeah, sometimes we go outside of these sort of area of scope as well, where we end up doing like event management. That would involve organizing events sometimes for the products that we develop, like the books. We've arranged book launches, but we don't normally do those kind of things. But also marketing, we're quite often involved with like marketing projects, or bring them launches and things like that. So yeah, we're working with marketing specialists, and then creating all the material that would go with that. So all the posters, the flyers, and the websites, the branding and everything goes along that.
Also social media.
Yeah, social media is really important. So yeah, social media campaigns, digital marketing. Yeah.
In 2020, definitely it's been like this for a couple of years, but you definitely need an online presence.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's important now, yeah.
So, who are your clients, and how would you describe a typical client?
All right, sure. So, we work with all kinds of different clients, which makes it really interesting. So we have like startups, we work with a lot of educational institutions, museums as well, and also large corporations. So we've worked with Saudi Aramco, like the largest oil company, for more than 10 years. We work with them, and so it's great to have a kind of experience with all different clients with different scales, and there's different challenges for each type of sort of sector and client size. But
that's good. So I assume clients of different scales are interested in slightly more different things. So for example, like just one person coming might be interested just in a logo or maybe a website, whereas bigger clients might be interested in a more holistic view as like branding and such.
Yeah, sure. So one of the great things about working with just like an individual or someone is you can they make decisions very quickly. So whereas like much larger corporations there's a lot more layers or levels to get like sign off, and that can like slow things down, or just kind of it can add like extra levels of kind of administration or like loopholes to get through. Whereas just a startup also with like startups or small businesses, they come to you for your expertise, so they really appreciate your knowledge, and it's great working with them because you can really see how you can grow their product and you can grow their brand, from basically zero to being something that's kind of out there and getting really good feedback and response. So yeah.
That's great. So yeah, you said that creative agency, but with being specialized. So who would you say are your main competitors, and how does a small business compete with largest businesses?
So so the competitors that I'd say are out there, we actually work with. So because we are a very, very niche, there aren't actually many kind of agencies, especially in UK. I think maybe like in the Middle East there probably are maybe more. But in the UK, companies who have our specialism, they're very, very few, maybe 2 or 3, and the ones that are there we actually work with. So when we get really large projects, we would probably bring them involved, try and get them involved in the project as well, where we might think we might not have the capacity to do the project. So, and we're basically friends with them, so we don't really see them as competitors, we see them as partners, more like that. So we kind of share ideas and we bounce things off one another, and I think that's kind of a very healthy kind of relationship with our competitors. So
I mean, I also think just a small dose of competitiveness just to motivate yourself is good.
Sure, yeah, it is important. Yeah, you need to be ahead of your game in this industry for sure. Yeah, you need to be producing really good work, cutting edge work. So
yeah, that's really great. So I know you said above, but I'm just going to reiterate just to make sure. So with your specialization is more into Arabic world,
yes,
but you also, because of that, you also do websites that are also duolingual, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah, multilingual. Yeah.
Multilingual. You also, I mean, I know you didn't mention, but I will just bring it up. Also in script and calligraphy.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be so. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, so we focus on language and culture, really, and art. So yeah, that involves a lot of multilingual work, websites in all different kind of languages. So Arabic, which goes from right to left, and we design books using Arabic and English, but not just Arabic. We've done things. Right now, we're working on a book in Chinese, which is 1,000 pages. So yeah, whenever we work on these projects, we always work with creatives who know the language themselves. And with the calligraphy, we are really fond of craft, and we try to always point our clients in the direction of doing bespoke work. So that would always kind of usually involve working with a craft person, whether that's like hand-drawn maps or like handwritten calligraphy. So using something that's like craft-based is always more like bespoke, rather than just finding something that's already exists and just sort of like copying and pasting it. But it does take more time, and obviously it's more expensive, so not always clients don't always have like those kind of resources to go down that route. But yeah, the results are usually always much better when you do go along those lines. So yeah.
Now I mean, founder, and you manage everything. So what would you say are your weaknesses or certain parts that you'd want to improve on?
All right, sure. That's a good question. So yeah, part of the problem of being a small business is it's hard to take on really large projects. Just being able to fulfill projects that are very, very, very demanding. And the main issue about that is how to maintain the quality with the time pressures, and being a small company that can cause like challenges. So yeah, I see it more as a challenge of like how to improve that. So how, because ideally we would like to grow the business and take on larger projects, but how do we sort of grow to be able to do that, which has been like quite a challenge. And
Okay, so now we heard about you, we heard a bit about Inspiral. So let's go and talk about clients.
Sure.
So how do you build your relation with the client, and how do you attract more leads?
Okay, sure. So to build relationship with clients, the best way is just by really doing great work that they're really, really pleased with. And so normally we'll perhaps get a client and they might just want a logo. So when we do that, we try to do it to our best ability, and so the client is really pleased with the work. We show lots of options, lots of creativity, and then so once they're pleased with that small piece of work, they normally come back and say, right, okay, great, you've done our logo. Now we'd either like a website or want some packaging design or branding. So for each piece of work, we just always try to go above and beyond. So that's producing really great quality work, producing it on time. That's the way really we find it's good to build a relationship, so that the client's always just really impressed. They'll refer you to other people and they'll come back and give you more work. So that's what we found is like a great way of like client retaining clients. Was your other question?
Just once again, how do you attract more leads?
So to attract more leads, it's kind of networking and really through social media. So basically showcasing on social media the work that we are doing for clients, and and again it's referrals. That's kind of how we're doing it. But unfortunately we don't have a dedicated sort of business development manager. I mean, ideally that would be great, because we'd have someone who's just dedicated in doing that work. In a kind of in a proactive way, but at the moment it's really non-proactive. That's the way we're creating these at the moment, which is keeping us busy. So
I guess that also answers my next question, which was, are they coming naturally or are you searching for them?
So at the moment it's naturally, but still when we get inquiries we have to follow them up, and they still take time. You have to create proposals and quotations and things like that, and then you have to follow up when you send the quotes. So so for now I'd say it's more naturally rather than like specifically going after people, or not calling people up, or so that's what we do.
That's good. So let's say clients came here or maybe called here. What's exactly the embarking process like? How do you actually get the job?
All right, sure. So normally the first thing people would do would either contact us, call us, or for our website they might fill out inquiry form. So they'd be asking about a job. So then we would speak to the client. Sometimes we call them, sometimes it's just done via email, but we try to find out like the requirements for the project, so get some more information, like to figure out the scope of work. The next stage after that, once we're clear like on what the client's looking for, the times and everything, try and find out things like budget. We then create a proposal. So we write a proposal, shows all our terms and conditions and the details of the project, and then we send that to a client if they accept, and then we start the project. So that's kind of really quite simply how it works, and probably kind of the same I guess with most sort of businesses. So
so let's say someone came in interested in you, you offer the proposal. How do you deal if it's a difficult lead? As in, let's say they're just saying, oh, this proposal is too expensive.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I just recently had this. It does happen sort of now and again. You get people who you send a proposal, there's something not quite right, it's not quite a good fit. Sometimes what they're looking for, it wouldn't really be a great use of your skill or time. So recently we had a client, they were looking for to produce a product, but they didn't really want to produce it like bespoke, and yeah, they just kind of wanted just to take some sort of clip art and just sort of slap it down and just, yeah, it wasn't, we weren't really, really a good fit, so we declined that job. Also, again, we had someone who was looking for us to design a book cover, but they, for whatever reason, it didn't really work out. They were maybe not 100% sure that we were going to be able to do the work, and they had some doubts. So in those times, you just kind of, sometimes you just have an inkling that it's not really going to work. So so we always try to be really transparent with our customers, and it's important that on both sides are really clear about the arrangement, and that is a good fit, that you think you can really add value, and you can meet their goals, and so that you can do great work and meet their expectations. So yeah, it's also depends on the customer, how they value what you're doing. So if they have a very low value on something, maybe for them it's not that important, and then if they don't think the project's that important, then that it's they're not really they're not really going to care too much about it, or they're going to try and get you to do so much more work than what they're valuing it at. So yeah.
So I guess this also transitions really well, and I guess you also answered, if you say no to your clients or leads.
Do we do that, you're asking? Yeah, we do. Yeah, so it's so important to do that, because you can't take every single job, and sometimes there are projects or clients, whereas if you know that taking on the job or taking on this client would basically cause sort of problems with your other projects, or drain too much time. So after experience, you get to see these clients, and for those ones, sure, we do turn them away, because we just know it's not really a good fit and not a good match. So it's always best to turn sort of jobs away.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, so okay, so you have your clients. How much are you willing to compromise in order to keep the client happy?
Well, at the end of the day, the client, the client is important, and they're paying for a service. So it depends really what kind of compromisation. I mean, we always try to communicate with the client and say, right, okay, if you go down this route, so maybe it might be something like, we want to use a much cheaper paper, or I want to change this aspect or specification. So we always try to inform them, about the consequences of doing that. And at the end of the day, it's their money, it's their project. So I think as long as they're informed about the consequences of this compromise, then, and they're happy with that, then it's fine. Then obviously you have to make the change, because at the end of the day, it's their choice about that. So yeah, exactly. But it doesn't come up too often. Most of the time, the clients, they're looking to us for solutions and advice, and most of the time we find that clients take our advice and the direction that we're trying to go. So yeah. And they come to us because we're supposed to be experts in our field.
Yeah, exactly. That's really good. So how do you activate, or better said, how do you reactivate inactive clients of the past?
All right, okay. So sometimes it can be networking, or like going to an event, you see someone there and they remember you, or I mean, sometimes we're just so busy we don't kind of reach out to old clients, and we forget about things. But usually it's just clients who normally just come to us, and they have a requirement, and sometimes we don't hear from clients for several years, and then they'll just suddenly get back in touch and say they have a need. So it's more usually that's the case. So so we don't normally proactively sort of follow up with clients that we haven't heard from. Usually just at the moment we're so busy. But in quiet times we yeah, we'd kind of focus on sort of promoting our work, and then usually people will follow our work. We'll see the work that we're publishing on social media, and then sometimes that might give them an idea of, oh, I need to contact Inspiral for this project or to find out. So
Yeah, because I guess this ties with how do you keep in touch with previous clients?
yeah, so I mean, we do have an email newsletter, but again, we're not very frequent with how we send that out. We do things like season greetings and like Ramadan and Eid sort of greetings that we send out to our clients. But yeah, it's one of the challenges of having a small business is like maintaining client relationships, and kind of really ideally you would have like a dedicated sort of business development person. They would go and meet your clients, take them for lunch and find out how they're doing. And for larger agencies, usually that's kind of what normally sort of happens. So
I guess to a certain degree, it can get a bit annoying if you get too many emails, calls, marketing, sales calls. So I guess it's actually better that you keep in touch. Oh, here we are doing this. Hi, season greetings and all of that. That's
yeah, that's at the moment what we're doing, which seems to be working fine. And
yeah, that's good. Thank you for sharing more about your clients. So I was just wondering about what was the worst client that you had, if you want to tell me, and how did you deal with them?
Yeah, unfortunately, bad clients you try to forget, because it's one aspect of the business which obviously it's usually painful, and it's part and parcel of running a business, is that unfortunately you will come across clients where for whatever reason the relationship goes sour and it just doesn't work. There's no breakdown of communication. I can't particularly think of one particular client, but I do. I can think of a job where there was a client and they came to us for some posters, and basically we did the work for them. We did it on time, and we sent them proposal quotations, all very clear. We thought we were being really clear on our side, and then they decided to for the same job get another designer to do the work at the same time, and then they came back and said, well, we're not happy with your work, and we want to go ahead with this other designer's work, and we don't want to pay you. And so these sort of things do happen. So even though they had agreed all the costs and it was like very clear, so usually the bad clients these are the things that kind of happen, where they either take other sort of examples of where you have clients and really they're just coming to you for your ideas and all your contacts and all your information, and they have no intention of ever using your services. So clients like this would also go in that bad client category. And we've had a few of those. We always try to sort of spot these people before, but they promise you like huge projects and everything like that, but they start asking you for all your like your printer contacts and all your ideas, and it's a tricky situation because you want to show the client that you know your area, and you want you want to win the job, but inevitably they just take all your ideas, and they'll go and either find someone who can do it for cheaper, or so I'd say kind of those are two examples of bad clients without naming any particular names.
That's fine.
So what's happening with Inspiral Design? What are your plans for the future?
Sure, that's a great question. So for the future, we really want to grow the business, and for many, many years, this has really been our plans. Like how can we grow the business, but still maintain the high quality that our clients want? And it's kind of a really tricky thing. Well, we ourselves have found it being quite a challenge. To grow the business, we need really good staff, but to find really good staff is quite challenging. So, and then retaining those staff as well. So, that's been one of the challenges. But we're hoping to ideally grow the business so that we can take on much larger projects, and that's kind of what we like to do. So, but it's also quite challenging to plan when you're running a business, because it's kind of almost being like a roller coaster. So it's sort of up and down, and in business, to grow your business, you do have to make plans. But we don't really know like what new job is going to come around the corner. So it's hard for us to build the infrastructure and the resources to be able to the resources to take on those projects, and it's obviously there's a cost and risk element to that as well. So it's kind of managing all of that is a challenge for us. So
I see. Yeah, no, that sounds like a really, really good plan. So I wanted to ask you if you could look into that camera and tell like someone that just starts, like a junior, just someone that just graduated university, what are the top 3 qualities that someone should have in order to work in this industry?
Sure.
Yeah, so I would say, first of all, it's passion. That's number one. You have to be really passionate about this subject and really enjoy your work. So I think if you're not giving it 100%, then that's not going to be good. It's not going to you're not going to enjoy the work, and it's not you have to be really, really passionate and interested in this area. Number 2, I would say, is probably discipline. Is really important when you're starting out, especially for business. You have to be disciplined about how you organize your time and how you approach jobs, and that's kind of very important. And number 3, I'd say sort of patience as well is something that's a good sort of quality to have. So because you have to the design is like about solving problems, and you need to be patient to solve things, because sometimes solutions don't come right away. So you have to have patience to be able to figure out like how to like solve those problems, and that's a good quality to have as well.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you very much for the interview. It's been really insightful. Is there anything you'd like to add, just like letting us know about future plans, or if it's just anything that you'd want to add?
Sure. So what I'd like to add is that there's actually so much inspiration in nature with design. And I think it's one thing that I'm really sort of interested in, whether it relates to like scale, proportion. I mean, there's just so much inspiration around us. So like just sometimes getting up and going away from your desk or going outside, there's just a wealth of inspiration just like around you. And I think you can get some amazing ideas about your projects, or like how to solve solutions from looking at like nature, and also the idea of things that are human centric. So the idea of like how people respond to things. So looking at our solutions, design solutions, are they what actual people want and use? You might have an idea, but unless you actually test that on humans and people who will actually be using that, you could just have the completely wrong idea. So things like usability or user experience, those are areas which I'm really, really interested in as well. And kind of does link back to nature, because it's like, what's your natural response to doing something? So you might have a certain sort of assumption about that, but when you put it in front of someone, so it could even just be a feedback about a design or something. You might absolutely love this font or something, but when you show it to some other people, you're like, yeah, cool, like what does that mean? So so it's really important to go back to the idea of like, what's like natural and, getting people's response and, kind of looking outside, looking at, picking up a flower, for example, so how beautiful it is, or the geometry behind there, or like the proportions. There's a lot kind of, just getting up away from your computer or going out, you can kind of get a lot of ideas and solutions. Sometimes if you're stuck on an idea, just kind of going for a walk or something, or just kind of leaving it and going away, you can come back and have like really good ideas. So yeah.
Thank you a lot for just giving me a bit of your time. I know that you are really busy. So yes, this was the interview. We have Mukhtar Sanders, founder and creative director of Inspiral Design. It's been really a pleasure to take your interview. If there is someone that wants to contact you, what would be the best way of doing that?
Thanks very much. I enjoyed doing this interview, and the best way would be really through our website. So inspiraldesign.com. If you go on there, we've got our contact details, and happy to speak to anyone. So
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Seb.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.